Well, more now on our breaking news. Egypt's Coptic Christians are reeling from a pair of deadly attacks. At least 36 people were killed when bombs hit churches north of Cairo and in Alexandria. ISIS has claimed responsibility for both of those attacks. US President Donald Trump has also condemned the attacks in a tweet. He said he has confidence Egypt's president will handle the situation properly. Well, let's take a closer look at Egypt's Coptic community. Christians make up about 10% of the population. Most are believed to be Coptics. Their theology is based on the teachings of the Apostle Mark. Persecution of the Copts has been escalating since Egypt's revolution in 2011. Well, I want to bring in H.A. Hellyer of the Atlantic Council and the Royal United Services Institute and author of the book A Revolution Undone, Egypt's Road Beyond Revolt. He joins us via Skype from Cairo. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Firstly, this attack, this double terror attack we saw today, just comes a few months after the last big attack on the Coptic Cathedral in Cairo. What's your response?
Well, unfortunately, there are some attacks that you can defend against, and there's some attacks you can't. With regards to the attack in Alexandria in particular, it's very clear that this was a heavily fortified church because of the fact that the Coptic Pope was actually delivering a speech there. And the security officers that died obviously paid the ultimate price in trying to protect him and other people in the church. In some of these attacks, there's unfortunately very little that any security establishment can actually do to defend against somebody who really wants to die and take people with him. The question is whether or not this is the case across the board with regards to security infringements across the country. But certainly today, it seems that just like, unfortunately, what we saw in Stockholm, in Westminster, and in other parts of the world, sometimes you can't actually stop somebody who just wants to die and take people with them.
Yeah, it's certainly a huge challenge. Looking at the president, the political situation there, from a Western perspective, President El-Sisi has been seen as a leader of stability, but in Egypt, authorities have been accused of overreaching and cracking down. Just give us a sense of the political situation right now.
Well, at the present moment in time, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi leads what I would consider to be a conglomerate of institutions in Egypt, and most powerful of which is obviously the Egyptian military, and he maintains quite substantial popularity and authority within those institutions of the state, and a significant amount of popular support on the ground. Having said that, the country is rocked by a number of different security problems, foremost in the Sinai, obviously, but also attacks such as today show that ISIS cells in different parts of the country that have nothing to do with the Sinai are also quite threatening, as well as on the border with Libya. That's obviously a very key security threat right there. The economic situation is quite challenging. And putting all of these things together, you have a country that isn't looking like Libya or Syria or Somalia. It's not a country that's falling to pieces, but it is a country that faces tremendous difficulties.
In your book, A Revolution Undone, you wrote about the high expectations created during the 2011 uprising, before that hope was dashed. What do you believe it's going to take to find that hope there in Egypt once more?
Well, I think that you have to be very realistic about what faces the country at present. The average age of the Egyptian is 24 years old. Around 75% of the population is under the age of 35. And after the turmoil of the last few years, I think many Egyptians are quite tired. And they face an incredibly difficult economic situation. Tourism is down tremendously. The cost of living has increased. The value of the Egyptian pound has decreased. There are structural problems that face this country in a fantastic way. When you have a health industry that doesn't actually take care of the country at large, education needs reform. There are many structural problems here that are very difficult to address. And I think that it's going to take quite some time and a good deal of truly significant political leadership to be able to address all those things. And I'm afraid I don't see that in the short term.
All right, Dr. H.A. Hellyer, we'll have to leave it there for now, but great to have you with us. Thank you. Well, you're watching Connect the World. Still to come, the attacks on Egyptian churches come on one of Christianity's most holy days. We'll take a look at why Palm Sunday services were targeted.